the instructions for bonding rubber used to be extremely easy back in the day when everything that was available were hard, compact, black, thick, heavy rubber soles. All you had to do was grind it, coat it, bond it, done. Unfortunately, from the bonding perspective, but very fortunately from the shoe perspective, from what is possible to be done with rubber nowadays, it's not as easy anymore. Nowadays there are many different rubber formulations, rubber compounds available that make the life of the shoe designer much easier, that allow many things that were not possible before, as far as abrasion resistance goes, as far as cushioning the sole goes, as far as shaping the sole goes. But unfortunately for bonding, it means a bit more of a challenge. So, as it was before, if we're looking at the classic hard, compact rubber heel or rubber sole, the process is just as easy. Make sure the surface is clean, make sure you grind it, grind both sides, and then apply any Renia adhesive, any you are using anyway because you like the open time, because you like to work with the other materials that it allows you to work with. If you're doing a build-up, of course, if you're using EVA, it makes little sense to use our Syntric Total vinyl cement, but you would use a classic contact adhesive like our Valcofest, like our Renia Col de Cologne universal adhesive, like our Topfit, like our Ortec. All of these work on these classic hard compact rubber types. Now, if we're looking at more flexible, soft rubber soles, there is a general rule. The more flexible, the more soft the material is, the more likely that you are going to need a special preparation. We generally suggest on these soft rubbers, especially on a unit sole, on any kind of unit sole or cup sole, to use our Renia Rehagol halogenation primer, yellow primer with the yellow label, simply because, first of all, on a cup sole it makes your life much easier. You don't have to be careful and grind all around, like these overhanging parts here. You don't have to grind inside there, but the primer takes care of that. Sort of a chemical grinding takes place here. The other reason is that these compounds don't just contain the classical rubber mix. They contain lots of other ingredients, lots of additives that don't just harmonize so well with just the regular sanding and contact cement process, but that actually require that chemical pre-treatment. You can't have mixtures that include TR, that include TPU, that include PU, and in that case it is much safer to start with halogenation right away. How does that work? Very simple. We are doing a separate video on the Rehagol anyway, but let me just reiterate here. What you do, you grind it, if necessary, if possible. Of course, a spot like this you don't grind. You apply the Rehagol with a metal-free brush, very important, otherwise it doesn't work properly. And you wait for between 15 and 30 minutes before applying a suitable adhesive like our Renia Multicol, Col de Cologne or Syntric Total. Those three are what you can use with Rehagol. No Valcofest, no Ortec, no Topfit. These don't work that well or at all with this special chemical primer. After that, you work as normal. Just make sure you have a closed adhesive surface on your material surface on both sides. Let it dry for at least the drying time up to the open time if you want to work without heat activation, and then bring the parts together, join them and press them. There are certain rubbers that require a little bit more. We are doing a separate video on so-called rock climbing rubbers or rock climbing soles, because that can be a bit of a challenging process. There is a certain prescribed recipe that allows you to do that successfully, but it's a little more complicated. Generally, if you have a rubber sole that states oil and gasoline and oil and acid resistant or anti-static or something like that, conductive on the bottom, that is also what you have to make sure your adhesive fulfills. So if you want to use or to create or repair or modify an oil resistant army boot, fireman boot, police boot, something like that, that also needs to be heat resistant, you need to make sure you use the hardener, Renia hardener, with any adhesive you're using, simply because that allows you to also withstand that heat, oil, gasoline environment from an adhesive perspective. Yeah, recognition. As I said, the main difference you have to look at is the difference between the more compact rubbers, hard rubbers, and soft rubbers. Rubber has this typical rubber smell. If it looks like rubber from the outside and doesn't smell like rubber, it's a hint that it might actually be another material. If you're not sure how hard, how soft it is, even on the hard and compact rubbers, if you use the halogenation method with the yellow Reagold primer, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just doing something that might not be needed, but it's not a mistake to do it anyway, just in case.